Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Poetry and Perspective with Placid. I am your hostess, Cindy Placid. Listen, guys, today is a very special show for us because we are bringing awareness to dwarfism, especially Thanatophoric Dysplasia. And the reason why we chose this topic today is because I have a daughter who was born with Thanatophoric Dysplasia, a rare form of dwarfism, and not many people know about Thanatophoric Dysplasia. So we I'm here with a parent tonight who has had a similar situations as I have. We are going to be discussing thanatophoric dysplasia, dwarfism, and what it's all about. Okay, it's the best that we can, so we can give you enough information that you'll make an informed decision. Okay. Well, before I continue, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name, of course, I'm Cindy Placid. I'm from the beautiful Caribbean island of St. Lucia in the Caribbean. Hello and good night to all my Caribbean family, my St. Lucian family all over, St. Lucia and the world. I say good night to you all. Bonsoir. And I am I am a mother of four amazing children, one deceased. Did I say four? Yes, I did. Yes, I'm a mother of four amazing children. Okay. So my first son, Kyle, he's my first love. My second son, Noah, who is my second child with autism, and I have my daughter, in-law Aaliyah. Of course, that's my love as well, and my deceased daughter Isabel. Okay, so these are my four children. Even if my daughter is deceased, she is still my child. So I always have to talk about her. I advocate for mental illness because I have my own struggles with mental illness, and so I choose to advocate for that as well as suicide because of my own experiences. I also advocate for autism because, of course, I just said that my son was born with autism, and so I bring awareness to that the best that I can, and to help people better understand what it is all about. I also advocate for thanatophoric dysplasia, which we're going to be talking about, a rare form of dwarfism, because my daughter was born with thanatophoric dysplasia. Okay, so tonight you're going to get some in-depth information about thanatophoric dysplasia and experience of a mom who has had to face these challenges. I'm telling you, when I heard this lady's story, I was just taken aback. So she's gonna be telling us about that. But I am an author, okay? I am an author of two poetry books. And let me see if I can find the slides to show for those of you who do not know about moi. My first book is called When Life Stood in Silence, entitled When Life Stood in Silence. And the reason why I chose that name is because I was going through a lot of grief, a lot of depression. Life has taken a turn for me, and I couldn't hear anything. I couldn't hear nobody speak to me. And so I couldn't hear God speak to me. I couldn't hear what people were saying. It was just, my life was just stuck. And so that's why I chose When Life Stood in Silence. It was a way of bringing up my grief, expressing my most innermost feelings, my turmoil, my depression, my anxieties. Now, although it is centered around grief and loss, but it has a little bit of everything. It has a bit of love, romance, aging gracefully. So this is what is the first book is all about. Now, my second book is entitled A Mighty Calm. It is almost like an uprising from the grief to find your power, find your strength, find yourself, and to empower others. It is bold. It is you find a new perspective on yourself, and whatever you endeavor to do, whether it be spiritually, physically, emotionally, you have to find your might. You have to rise from it. So that's what the Mighty Calm is all about. From the calm, I became mighty. So that's a mighty calm. Listen, guys, my book is found on Amazon.com, exlibre.com, which is my publishing company. You can find it on barnesandnoble.com, and of course, my website, rise to prosperity.com. Listen, guys, I always have trouble saying my own website, so you have to bear with me. I'm going to put it on the screen, okay? So let us see what is happening in my world today. First of all, let me see. I will say a little shout out to the Thanatophoric Dysplasia community, okay? The Thanatophoric Dysplasia community, the Facebook group, Thanatophoric Dysplasia pregnancy and survivors. I'm trying to figure it out in my head. And survivors. So that's the group we center our it's a private group, and we center our group on to bringing awareness to that. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, there you go, Kyle. Hey, sorry. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to find the I am trying to find. I cannot. I cannot comment over here, so I'm trying to find a way to comment on my phone because of the system that I'm using. Okay. So. All right. Of course, I just said that on my phone because of the. So now. All right. So again, there is gonna be on a www.rise-to-prosperity.com. Okay. Enough said. Now. The topic of discussion tonight is thanatophoric dwarfism awareness and its thanatophoric dysplasia. And I'm going to give you just a brief, outlook of what it is, just a brief description. I'm going to read it from my computer. Thanatophoric dysplasia is a skeletal disorder characterized by extremely short limbs and folds of extra redundant skin on the arms and legs. Other features of this condition include a narrow chest, short ribs, underdeveloped lungs, and an enlarged head with a large forehead and prominent, okay? Basically widespread eyes, okay? Tonight, last week we had an amazing show, and we had this guy from Ghana who was talking about business. He was a public speaker, and it was an amazing show. But tonight, listen, tonight, guys, I need you to pay attention to what we are about to tell you, because you're going to be blown away. It is something that you are not going to forget, okay? Let me say hello to my guest right now. My guest, good night, Clara Dubois. Good evening. How are you doing, darling? Nana Ohima Acha. Good night, sweetheart. Thank you so much for joining our live. So I am going to bring our guest. Her name is Saretha-Beth McRann. And we connected as a result of our loss. She's an amazing mom. She's an entrepreneur. And of course, she's a TD mom. Okay. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring her on the screen. So please say hello to Saretha, everyone. Hello, love.
Hello.
Are you? Did you usa?
Gusta.
Okay, all right. So listen, guys. Saretha, like I said, she is an amazing woman. Sometimes you see people, you talk to them for the first time, and you feel like you know them so well.
Oh, it
And
froze.
then you meet them in person, and you realize that
No, it froze. I don't know. It froze. I think it's something on her half because everything's working on my half. Oh, I think she's resetting hers because it just disappeared. Too spicy?
It's not that it's spicy, it's just a lot of pepper. It's making my nose run.
Don't you like all that?
No, I like spicy flavor, not pepper.
How are the potatoes?
They were par. Flavor wise.
Well, I saw a recipe for them like that. That way everything's like made at the same time.
Yeah, I saw you put like a shit ton of seasoning on
Shit ton of seasoning, a lot of butter.
it. It was just. It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't bad.
No. It was
Maybe
just-
next time I'll just use like milk. Well, I was looking for chicken broth, but we didn't have any.
Yeah, it just didn't have a whole lot of flavor to it.
Which is so weird because I put a lot of seasoning
I
in
know,
that.
I watched it. But they were nice. They was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Percent.
Come on, Daddy. You just gotta grab when Amelia comes in. He didn't bite Amelia, but Amelia walked by earlier
Zeus.
and he just held her. He wouldn't let her leave him.
Zeus. Bronson. Come on.
You
Zeus.
said that. Go with Daddy.
Come on. Get up here. Come on.
I think he's hungry.
Bronson. Hey. Zeus Bronson. Come on. Zeus. Come on. Get up here and sit. Come on. Hey. Come on. Get up here. Bronson. You set that. Come
He
on.
said that.
Come on. Up here.
Go with Daddy.
Come here.
Stay with Daddy.
I can't grab you if you're over there. Come on. Come sit. Come on.
Tell him, come.
Go eat. Go eat.
It's
Don't
comni.
make-
It's
don't-
com. It's
wait a
comni.
Sounds close enough. Yeah. You said that.
He
Now.
said that. Bronson, sit it. Hmm. I have this one lady that always comes to work because she likes my Bloody Marys and she always calls me Serena. I'm like, you can just call me Sadie. She's like, why is Serena such a pretty name? And I'm like, because that's definitely not my.
You want to be close to Rita, I'm gonna use Rita.
I was like, that's my cousin.
You have a cousin named Serena?
I have a cousin named Serena, Selena, and Sabrina.
Who's Serena?
So Selena and Serena and Sabrina, they're all sisters. They're my Aunt Leanne's daughters. Supposedly, after my parents named me, they named their daughters all that, hoping that we would all be close,
That hurts.
which didn't happen. She's trying to fix it right now.
Where'd you be at?
She's in St. Louis. She's in the Caribbean. Amelia? Amelia? Hey, Amelia. Teresa's home. She wants Amelia home. Yes, you have to come inside. Amelia has to go home. And you guys are not supposed to be sitting in Lee's chairs. You're not supposed to be sitting in Lee's chairs. He did? I thought you meant our chairs. Thank you, Jonah. Bye, guys. That's Lee's.
No, it's not.
That's the one he gave her.
Oh, that's one he gave you? Okay.
Yeah,
All
that's
right,
the
go. Don't have to worry about it. Go. Yeah.
Oh, it's that one. Turn it off.
one.
All right, one more chips. So,
Okay.
you barely ate any of it here.
Yeah, I did.
You ate mac and cheese.
And then I ate some of my.
Hey, does that soap site, it says it lets you watch the sports. Do you know if it works yet? Have you tried?
So you can watch sports.
Mm-hmm.
Already played sports.
Supposedly live ones.
Figure it out. Ben sent me that site for sent me the site for Hey, lay off my water. Drink the other water. Please.
Let me see if I can get it to work. It's Monday night, so there's no sports, right?
That was Monday night. Starts
Oh, this one says NFL Super Bowl Live, NBA playoffs, the FFA World Cup Russia.
I am back.
Hello.
I am so sorry.
It's okay.
I had to change computer because my computer was just acting like really crazy. But we are still live. We are still live. Oh my goodness. For all of those who stayed with us, guys, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So listen, okay, so we're gonna get right into it because we're gonna get right into it. So Saretha, thank you so much for being patient with me. Thank you so much because I appreciate your patience. So tell me, I'm going to ask you the questions because this is driving me nuts. So, all right. So tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where you're from, your education, your kids, your hobbies. Tell us about the babies. We all want to know about the kids.
So my name is Sareta McRann. Everybody calls me Sabi. I'm originally from Arizona, but grew up between Northern Nevada and Central Washington. For the majority of my life, I lived in Las Vegas, and that in Vegas. I went to cosmetology school. I went to the Art Institute, graphic design and applied computer science. I was kind of a mess in my younger years. Everybody can vouch for that one. My oldest son, Joseph, he is almost 21 now. He was 9 years old when we found out that Christian was a boy. He was turning 9. It was on his birthday. We found out Christian had Thanatophoric Dysplasia and that he was a boy. Thankfully, my son was just excited to be a big brother, so that was pretty exciting for him. Let's see. We have our youngest child, our daughter Scarlett. She just turned 8. We left Las Vegas a year after we lost Christian and Scarlett was born. We just wanted to get out of there, so we moved to Washington State. And that's where we've been for the last almost 7 years until May. We moved here. We made Mississippi our forever home, which it's just amazing in Ocean Springs where we're at. It's so beautiful. I am currently a full-time bartender and server at this super cute little spot in downtown Ocean Springs called Knuckleheads. I'm still a licensed cosmetologist. I'm working on having my license transferred here to Mississippi and possibly start doing hair again. But for now, I'm just focusing on just getting us together. When in Washington, I started a cottage business where I made cupcakes and macarons and cannolis and just all sorts of stuff, personalized birthday cakes. I did several weddings, the whole wedding cake and all the cupcakes. Something that kind of got me inspired by that was when Christian was, I want to say almost 2 years old, this lady online saw Christian and just fell in love with him. And she contacted a lady in Las Vegas who I actually still keep in touch with, contacted this lady and had her bring cupcakes to my house for Christian.
Okay.
And so we just kind of kept up with that. And we were doing really good until the whole COVID thing happened and just stuff got crazy. And we decided to move and we just kind of fell apart.
Okay. So let's take a step back. Okay. Let's take a step back. That is amazing. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Let's take a step back. So tell us some of the, before Christian, tell us some of the most memorable moments that you had in Las Vegas. You said you were between Washington and Las Vegas. So tell us some of the memorable moments.
So actually growing up wasn't very, my childhood was so far off from normal from other kids. My father, actually, he lived in a cave outside this tiny town in Nevada. My mom lived in a town called Eureka, Nevada, really small, like ghost town. It was even on Ghost Adventurers. Anyways, my dad lived in one of the caves out there and he met my mom and him just, I guess, kind of hit it off. And then, growing up, we did not live traditionally. Like there were points where we weren't even like homeless. Like we had a place to live, but my dad was like, we're just going to go live on the side of a river for the next like 2 months or whatever. Beautiful outside. Like I have a younger brother, Solomon, who that's how we grew up. Like all we knew growing up was you go fishing, you go camping, you play that card game War or Solitaire or Rummy or Scrabble, whatever. Like we grew up a little bit differently than definitely the kids now. My dad was very, I don't even know how to explain it. Jeremiah Johnson, like he just made his own clothes and everything was just different. I was actually brought home in this hide that my dad had killed this coyote and skinned this coyote, and I was taken home from the hospital in a coyote skin that my dad had made. So it was very weird. Like, I have stories for hours.
So he just kept it interesting, right? He was just an
Yeah,
adventurous person.
yeah. When I was like 7 or so, my parents had moved to Yakima, Washington, to be closer to my dad's family there. And my dad cheated on my mom, and my mom found out when the mistress of my dad was having a baby. So I now have a wonderful little sister named Madison. She's 8 years and 1 month exactly younger than me.
Okay.
So when my parents divorced, my mom moved back to Eureka, Nevada, which is more northern. It's about 4 hours away from Las Vegas.
Okay.
I was bounced back. My brother and I were bounced back and forth from Eureka to Yakima.
Okay.
Totally different lifestyles. Yakima is just there's a lot. There's
I've
lovely, not good.
I've never heard of Yakima. That's interesting. I've got to look it up. Okay, so let's move forward a little bit.
Yes.
What was the reason why you moved away from Nevada?
So we moved away from Nevada. I didn't want to drive by the hospitals anymore. I wanted my daughter I wanted both my kids, my oldest son and my daughter. I wanted them out of, everywhere there's a stripper posting, everywhere there's an escort service, everywhere there's this, everywhere there's that. Every time you drive past somewhere, it's a hospital that Christian was in, or, we got to a point where it was like our power bill, when we had Christian, what was it? Almost $1,000. Yeah, it was over $800 for a power bill, because he had his ventilator and he had different things, his concentrator, and we had so many different things that were hooked up on top of the heat in Vegas, our air conditioner. And there was just so much going on. And we wanted a more calm environment for Scarlett and Joey, a school without bomb threats or shootings or anything. So we moved to this tiny itty bitty little town in Washington State called Toledo. And then we moved to Chehalis, a little bigger. And then we found a house in Winlock, Washington, which is known for eggs. It was an egg production company way back when.
Yeah.
And we thought that would be perfect.
Yeah. One of the things that you said, you said that you moved away from because you did not want to it was hard for you to pass by the hospital. And that has been, imagine, I lived so close to the hospital when my daughter died. And it's 7 years. And to this day, every time I pass next to the hospital, my heart skips a beat. It's difficult for me to sometimes even look at the hospital. When I have to go to the emergency room, that's the closest hospital to me, I get anxieties. I literally am depressed when I have to go to the emergency room, because that's where my easy died as well. So I could totally relate to the fact that you were so close to the hospital and you didn't want to always pass by there.
Yeah. It was just too much. Like, there were days that I wanted to go into the hospital where he was originally born and, and just yell at them, or, the hospital where he went the day that he passed away. Like, I just felt like I look back now and I see these stories of moms that keep their babies on the ventilator and they have like no heartbeat, no brain activity, but they keep them on there for like days, months, years. And then like, I hate myself because I went ahead and let him go after, almost 15 hours of no activity, no nothing. I feel bad because like maybe I didn't do enough, and the doctors like every half hour we need to let him go. We need to let him go. Like there was so much pressure, like, sign these papers. We need you to do this. Like, it was just nonstop. Oh, do you want them to come in and take pictures before he changes colors from when he dies? And
wow.
Like it was just so much. Like, I remember not letting my mom in there to take a picture of me and Christian because I didn't I didn't want that memory forever. Like, I didn't want a picture of me holding my dead child.
Wow.
So we couldn't live by those hospitals anymore. Like, just knowing if something happens to Scarlett, I have to go into this hospital where this happened. And I just thought all of Las Vegas at this point was just beyond toxic for us.
I understand, guys. I'm showing a picture of Christian and his ultrasound. Okay, cute little face.
He was about a year and a half old in that picture with his brother Joey.
Okay, and you can see the bond between them is beautiful. I unless a parent lives it, they don't understand. People will say, I understand how you feel, but you have to be in it. You have to go through the experience for it to be able to live it. And I can totally relate. And sometimes when I tell people things that's so hard for me. There's some people will be insensitive and they tell me after so many years, you still feel that way. But as a parent who loses a child, it's never get easy. It's never get easier. You learn to cope. You learn to deal with the fact that your baby is not there. I remember I had no support. I had no support whatsoever. Just the hospital, just the hospital staff. At that time I had so much going on. So I really did not have support except my son, my older son, and a few friends, but I really did not have the support needed. And every decision I had to take was on my own. Every decision. So what was that like for you when you first heard that your Christian had um TD? Were you oh,
It was,
did you know about TD before that?
I had no clue. Well, at first they just said he was smaller than your average achondroplasia person. And they said it a little more crudely. They said that he probably wouldn't make it once he was born, and that they would need to do tests, but they should just schedule a termination. And I'm very rebellious. Basically, somebody tells me I can't do something, and then I don't just try and do it, but I do it with spite. And like, I just felt like Joey was so excited to find out he was having a little brother, like so excited. And at the time, Christian's father's not involved. He, once I found out, I let him know it was a big fight. It got crazy. I'm just gonna let that part just go.
Mhm.
So at this time, I'm a single mom by myself, and I'm just gonna do this. My mom thought that I was crazy for it at first, and it wasn't until he was actually born that she was just in love with him. Like, she was so happy I didn't listen to her and that I didn't terminate, and she was so happy I didn't listen to the doctors. And my oldest son's dad and his wife, they're very close friends, and even they were like, "Are you sure? You're okay?" Like, they were a huge support group. But at the same time, we had a lot of family that just looked at me like, "You're crazy. Like, you have no idea what you're getting into." And as far as I was concerned, as long as he was in my belly, he was fine. He was happy. He was good. He was in a safe place.
Yes.
Joey was constantly rubbing my belly and just trying to get his brother to kick him. And like, we were fine. I had a support group. I had, I have two other very close friends that are like sisters to me, and they were a huge support group. The whole family was. Their mom would, talk to my belly, and they would say their own prayers, and it was huge. So I knew I had a support group. And then once we got the actual diagnosis of Thanatophoric Dysplasia type 1, I did my research. I literally would stay up and just ask questions, and I went on Facebook, and I friended every single person that had Thanatophoric Dysplasia in their title somewhere.
Wow.
I researched doctors.
I did not find out until she was born. I knew, my biggest support was my oldest son, right? I think it was like, how old was he around that time? I can't remember. But it's amazing that you said that, I think one of your children was speaking to your belly. my oldest son, he used to stoop down. My stomach was so big. He used to stoop down every time he come from work, and then he would say, Isabel, you talk to my stomach. Isabel, listen to your mom. You okay, mom? Be a good girl when you born. So I mean, so in a matter of fact, when she was born, she recognized his voice instantly. She recognized his voice, and it's amazing. When I got pregnant with Izzy, I did not know. I was so happy because they told me I was having a girl. I already had two boys. Nothing could take away from my happiness. Okay. And when we were supposed to do some tests. They found out that she was short. Like you, they found out that I'm going to be a short person. And I know I have short people in my family. So I basically said, well, okay, that's fine. But it was after she was born that they saw that she had, you know, um TD, and I'm going like, what is TD? That's when I started to, in that hospital, at the same time I had a C-section, I started to do some research, and they gave her 3 days to leave. How long did they give Christian?
They said he probably wouldn't breathe once he was born. Uh, I made a deal with myself and with the family and with Christian. I would tell him, if you come out and you aren't screaming and you aren't kicking and there's no activity, I'll let you go in peace. I'm just gonna let you be peaceful. But if you come out screaming, I'm gonna fight for you. And he did. We even got it on video. We have his birth on video and him screaming and everything. And so I knew right then and there, and the doctors every day, every hour would be like, he's not going to live. He's not going to survive. And I was like, as long as he's still breathing and he's still trying and he's still showing his we're going to do it. And we had a lot of very neglectful doctors that I actually had to have removed from the room. Nurses, the way they would handle him. We were getting shamed because Christian, he is mixed. I was getting treated like crap because here I am, a single mom, and I have a mixed child. And then my son Joey, he's very dark. He's Sicilian Lithuanian, and he obviously looks different. So they're just looking at me like I'm just some kind of trashy person that doesn't know what I'm getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And I surprised a lot of these doctors because within 6 months he was born April 12th, and in June he was transferred to another hospital where he got his trach put in. And then what was it, less than 2 months later he came home? Was it a month later? A month and a half later he came home.
I was never able to get a track in for my Easy. I would say one thing about my experience, it's a little differs to yours, because the staff at the hospital, they were very, very supportive. They were fighting for Easy. They were fighting for Easy for her to get things done, for her to get the trick, for her to get, and I was a single mom. I didn't know what I was doing. I had the same experience with you. The dad I got pregnant, he was never there. He was never there. I gave birth, he was never there. And then I buried my daughter. I cremated her. He was never there. And I had to take on that mantle with my older son, and I could say that boy is the love of my life. Every time he had to grow up fast, because he had to take a mantle of being, the head, and to support me. And it was difficult. It is difficult to be a single parent, yet alone to be a single parent with a child with a disability. It's very difficult. So my experience, the staff was fighting. They loved my daughter. They were fighting for her to get a trach, but she never was able to get it.
I had to fight for Christian's trach, and we had to go through a lot of hoops to try and get the right doctors. And we had a doctor from Washington fly down to Las Vegas to examine Christian. Mm-hmm. I even flew up to Seattle Children's to try and get him help up there, because I heard that there were cases of children that had thanatophoric dysplasia that got help. When I got up there, I was told that his diagnosis is considered failure to thrive. And so they do not help with that. And since we did not live in the state of Washington, he was not considered any sort of priority. So we came back, and we just did what we had to do. I mean, when he was born, my son, he was instantly just like, I'm going to be like super Joey. I'm going to be super big brother. Like He did everything. He wanted to learn how how Christian, how he breathed. He wanted to learn how his G-tube worked. He wanted to learn everything. And he did. I mean, he had his moment. He was only 9. He had his moments where, okay, Christian's machine won't stop beeping. Okay, whatever. But at the same time, if it didn't beep, then he'd be like, Mom, it's not beeping. Something's wrong. Like, he just knew that, that was just our new way of life. It wasn't hard. My fiance came back in the picture. I don't know. How old was Christian?
A year and a half.
When you came back in the picture? Oh, sooner than that.
No, I don't think so.
So,
Maybe a year?
yeah. I don't know. It wasn't long. Someone that I had seen before, we hadn't talked for a while, and he came back in the picture, and he took the place of Dad, and he, Christian had a father figure. So the best thing ever, though, was that Christian's biological father didn't want anything to do with it. He, it wasn't a step that we had to take, and raising Christian for the time we got with him was, it was never something complicated for us. Like, if we had a problem, we just researched it and figured it out. Like, I never regretted a day with him.
Wow. That's
it was actually, at some points it was so much fun because he was so little. And so one of the pictures I sent you, he has like a yellow shirt on and little plaid shorts, and he's got these glasses on. So that was actually an outfit from the Build-A-Bear factory.
yes.
So he was too small, and proportion wise, regular clothes didn't fit him. So a lot of his clothes, it was like dressing up a doll all the time, or whatever. But with Christian, we just learned how to overcome everything. It was never questioning, what do we do? It was just, you have to do it.
Wow. So, how did it feel? I know you've talked about him a lot, but how did it feel when you saw they put him in your arms for the first time?
He was 7 days old when I got to hold him for the first time. And that was, we have that too on video and pictures, but that was one of the most, it just didn't even feel real. It was like it finally happened. I finally get to hold him. I know he's going to make it. I know he's going to be okay. Like, it was just very overwhelming. I felt like I couldn't stop crying. And at the same time, I didn't know what to do. I didn't want anybody touching him after that. Like, when I held him, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to learn how to change his G-tube. I wanted to learn how to do his vent settings. I wanted to learn how to read his pulse, his blood pressure, how to do his sugar tests. We did everything. Joey, after Christian got his trach, Joey learned how to change Christian's trach in case of an emergency. Joey learned how to do his G-tubes. Like, we had amazing nurses that came to our home to help us. But at the same time, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to make sure that we had this down, that he knew Mom and his brother and Daddy. We were all there for him. Ryan took, he was very nervous holding Christian at first because Christian was so tiny and very fragile. He didn't have, the neck strength like a normal baby would just hold his head up. Like, his head was so big that it was very hard to move. But it was something that holding him for the first time was just, it's like how every mom feels when they hold their baby for the first time. It's like I created this perfect little being, whether he's imperfect to other people, he's perfect to me. That's how he was meant to be.
And that's exactly how I felt when I held I had not seen her because I had a C-section. And so I had not seen her for the first, I think, day because I was so sore. But when they wheeled me downstairs, they said, you got to get to see your baby because they had seen her and I did not see her yet. And so they said, you need to see your baby. And I went there. I went there and I saw her and I fell in love with her. And no matter what she had, she was perfect to me. She was perfect. And so I said, no matter whether or not I have her for a day, that's some more pictures of me. Whether or not I have her for a day, whether or not I have her for a week, whether or not I have her for a month or years, that is my perfect baby.
Yes.
And I would love her and fight for her no matter what. No matter what. And that's what I did. I fought the best that I could for her. And as parents, that's what we do for our children, right? We
Right.
fight for them. We fight for them. And I thank you so much for just being vulnerable, being strong enough to be able to be here and to talk about it. I'm trying to see if I can put some more slides of Christian, on there. But tell me this, right? I'm gonna ask you a question. Let me get to my question 1 second. It says, I have a very important question for you. So, what advice were you given regarding your pregnancy?
Ever, I was just told stay off my feet. I was told, just be careful, watch what you do. With Christian, at first I was like dropping weight really fast. Like I was getting really sick all the time. I was sleeping all the time. And then all of a sudden my belly grew like it looked like I was pregnant with like quadruplets. I sent you a few photos of my pregnancy.
Yeah.
They said that I had an amnio disorder where there was so much amnio fluid that it was creating pressure on him. So just, no matter what I did, I was told no matter what I do, he's going to die. But no matter what, he's going to pass away. I'm going to create problems for him just trying to stay pregnant with him. So I
Wow.
was just told, do what you can do. And it was just, there really wasn't much anybody could tell me. Just be prepared. Just enjoy whatever you can while doing nothing, and see what happens when he's born.
And that is the hardest feeling ever, to feel helpless, like you cannot help your child. You want to, but you can't. You, as if you have the your child's life is in the doctor's hands. You're doing the best that you can. You being an advocate, you being the voice, but still, you still feel there's so much more that you could have done.
Yeah.
Uh, so tell us about Christian. What was he like?
Oh, he was a character. He made the best little oohs and ahs sound. His first word was dada. Everything was da 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 da. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he was learning how to say Alma, and he knew if it was Joey was in the room, and he just had the best little laugh and snuggle sounds. And yeah, he did this little butt wiggle. He knew what he was doing. He would laugh and smile, and he loved rolling around. He got very, very physical. We
Mm-hmm.
were in the middle of physical therapy and learning how to hold up his head, and he did well in car seats. For like the last year, he loved road trips. We actually drove him all the way to Wilmington, Delaware from Las Vegas, and then all the way back just for the spinal decompression. He did
Mm-hmm.
great the whole trip. I mean, he beat all doctors' odds, all of them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he he had his favorite movies: Horton Hears a Who and The Little Mermaid.
Oh.
If you put anything else on, he would get mad. He would roll over. He would give you this face like, I'm going to have an attitude right now. um, he loved food. We had this one nurse, and her name was Tess, and she would spoil him every single day. French fries, nuggets, milkshakes. She would bring him all sorts of different foods, homemade foods. Uh, she was just amazing. We had another nurse, Scott, who hooked Christian up with. Scott used to collect all these DVDs, Disney DVDs, and so he got Christian all these DVDs Little Mermaid 1, 2, 3. I didn't even know all the other mermaids existed. He got him all those. Christian didn't like any of them. He just wanted his Little Mermaid and his Dr. Seuss, Horton Hears a Who. And
You,
that was it.
you know what my daughter liked? She loved to listen to Beethoven. I can't even say the name properly. she Beethoven. She used to listen to, and I had those little, from our congregation had those little kingdom songs. You're talking about, God and stuff like that, and it was so colorful, and her eyes used to be fixed, and you should see, and she was very sassy. So they have the attitude now. She was
Christian,
very, very sassy.
yes, Christian had attitude. He would let you know if he didn't like what he was eating, and then if he saw you eating certain stuff, he'd try and reach for you.
And they love water. I don't know what about the water. They love water. I'm gonna add some of the slides for
Christian was about 4 months old in that first picture right there.
Mm-hmm. The first one, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Wow.
And then, yeah, he loved water. It didn't matter. When we went to Disney World, we would lay him, because it was too hot outside to take him to the pool. So he would lay inside the sink at Disney World, inside our hotel, and just lay in the sink and play in the sink, because it was like the perfect size for him.
Yes. Yes, I have that picture of Disney World.
That was at the Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish, okay. He looks like he was having so much fun. Oh my goodness. I'm like, Christian, I want to be just like you, baby.
Give Kids the World. It was called Give Kids the World.
Okay. Wow.
And that was his little radio flyer, was like the perfect thing for him, because it fit his car seat, it fit his vent, it had a pop-up canopy on it, it fit all of his fans. It was like his own little cool rig to go cruising around in.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned, let's talk a little bit more. You mentioned that in your bio you said, I went back to doing hair, just trying to focus on a new life. I tried to figure out how to live without Christian, to live without the sounds of his ventilator, his voice, our medical routine for the amazing 3.5 years of his life we were blessed with. What are some of the avenues you use to cope?
I now I will take Scarlett and we'll go for a drive, or I curl up in bed and we'll watch scary movies or something. I can't watch Little Mermaid, I'll cry. Or Horton Hears a Who, I'll cry. I got a dog now that he's a snuggler. If I'm getting upset and irritated, he just, even when I'm feeling fine, he feels the need to curl up with me. Joey and I would try and find something to do, or if it's really bad, nobody's home, I'll pull up ventilators on YouTube or something and listen to them.
I can totally understand. I do. I'm looking at Joey in that picture. He is so happy.
Yes.
He is so happy because he loved his little brother. My youngest son, he literally went into he's, like I said, he has autism, and he literally was grieving so hard that I had to take him to a psychologist. And it was difficult for everyone. Me, I held on to my daughter's stuff. I still have a few of her stuff here, as some things I couldn't let go. For months I could not hold little girls. I could not stand to see little girls, because I was thinking, why are they here? And I wasn't being selfish. Why are they here? Why isn't my daughter here? I couldn't stand passing in the aisle where they're selling little girls' clothes, or to pass in the aisle where they have the diapers and babe. I could not do it.
We actually, I still have all of Christian's stuff. Clothes. I think we finally got rid of the diapers when we moved out here.
Mm-hmm.
I still have trachs and everything. Like if we were to unpack all of his stuff, it would be his full room. Medical
Mm-hmm.
supplies, toys. We still had his crib and his stroller and his car seat up
Mm-hmm.
until we made this move, and I finally let those things go. But everything else I still have. Like, I know I should let it go. Like, it's not like we're going to use it again or need it. We can't donate it to anything because they don't allow that or whatever. But I just, I feel like every time we get rid of something, it's like getting rid of him again.
And that's exactly how I felt. And I think one of the, and I totally understand, I'm so sorry. But that's one of the things that got to me the most was I'm trying to compose myself, but her breast milk. I used to snap at it was in my refrigerator, and I used to snap at anybody who just even touch it or tell me anything about it. And I want to tell you something. I want you to listen to me. Don't let anybody push you into giving away any of his stuff. It's on your own time when you are ready. It's nobody should tell you when to do it. You are going to know when you are ready. And that time may never happen. You understand? But nobody should ever. Don't push yourself too because you're gonna end up feeling more hurt. I remember my when I gave away his they had this the beautiful little dress that she loved, and I gave away some. My sister was pregnant, and I gave away to give it to my sister. I packed everything in the suitcase, Sarita. I said I'm gonna give it to my sister, and I took. Oh, that is so sweet! I didn't want to see it. Oh my gosh, she's holding her mommy.
My
And I literally unpacked everything and was bawling and screaming in my closet because I could not let it go. I could not let it go. And I still have that little dress up to this day. I have a little box with her stuff. She didn't accumulate much stuff because she did not, um, she never came home. She never came home. And my heart goes out to you because I understand. I can relate to how you're feeling. You had more time with with your son Christian, and he is so cute. Let me tell you what. Let me show you one of my favorite photos. I'm going to show you. I think he is just the coolest little guy. I think he's so cool. I'm going, oh my gosh, look at him. He's so handsome, and he knew he was handsome too.
He
Okay.
knew. He knew. He always blew kisses.
Oh wow.
That was like his thing.
Wow. Oh my gosh. And he is just
He had the
amazing.
Zoolander look.
Oh my gosh. I when I saw that photo, I said, oh my gosh, I gotta put this on. This is he's so cute. And I am telling you, Sarita, I am just trying to just I know if I start crying right now, I'm not gonna stop crying for the rest of the night. I know I will not because it's gonna really I've been the way I was able to cope was to put all my emotions in the book. And even now, I can't go back to my daughter's box as I want to. I still have her urn on my dresser with her ashes. And I look at it, you have it. Oh,
We take it everywhere. We even we kept his diaper bag with his favorite blanket, his favorite toy,
yes.
and we go anywhere. We take him with us. It's been 8 years, and that's just how I cope. If I go somewhere overnight, I take him with me. Doesn't matter how long it's been. I'm probably going to do this forever.
I understand. I stay home most of the time. I don't hardly ever go anywhere. But I put her picture on my wall. And every morning I wake up and I know people will find you crazy sometimes, but I have to tell. I know she can't hear me where she is. I know she's sleeping, but I have to speak to her that picture every single day and tell that picture that, you know, like she was there with me, and tell her that I love her every day and that I'm going to see her soon.
She has this one.
And it's not that I feel like I'm going to die, but I just know that I'm going to see her soon.
We keep this one up.
I had it blown up at work.
My fiance's work did this for us. That's Scarlett at 6 days old, and that's Christian at 3.5.
Oh.
And we keep this it's out all the time.
Whew.
Every time we see dragonflies
That's Christian.
and butterflies,
That's Kim.
that's Christian. We just think every time you see a butterfly or a dragonfly, he's coming to you to say hello, to remind you he's here.
I was. Give me a second.
I like to think, like, with Izzy and the other children that have passed that are like our children, I like to think that they're all up there together. Like they have their own little crew. Like we see a rainbow in the sky, or it's raining really hard, and we say, you know, Christian's in the sky surfing with his Uncle Kalani. Like, you know, we have to do what we have to do to make it easier to get through.
Yeah. It was I don't know if you ever got to that point. Well, I got to the point where I didn't want to live without her anymore, and I wanted to die. I wanted to go, just die, just not exist.
If I didn't have Joey, and if Scarlett wasn't a newborn when Christian died, I had those feelings.
Actually, I did try to take my life a couple of times. And I'm telling you, it was because of these two amazing boys that I have. Two amazing boys. Nothing else mattered to me. The fact that they were there, I had them, because I know, like you said, if I did not have them, I would not have been here. And so that's why I am channeling the pain that I feel. I'm bringing experiences like this to life, to other people, to let them know there are so many of us who are suffering internally. There's so many of us, we find a way to cope and to live every single day. But we have those challenges that are, I could say, almost took over our lives, had power over us. And I want you to tell the audience, the viewers, what was, I never got to do that, but what was the routine like for you as a TD mom who had to take your baby home? I never got to do that.
So at first, it was anxiety. It was sleepless. I was so scared because I've always been a heavy sleeper. And so I was so scared that if I fall asleep, what if I don't hear his beeping? What if something happens? But it got to a point where I could hear his beeping. If his vent just changed rhythm, I would wake up and I would go in there. With him, though, it was, you know, in the morning we changed diapers, we put a new food bag on, we played with him, we held him, we bathed him. he watched he would watch Little Mermaid like 3 times in a row. Like if you tried to put something else on, he would get mad. He would he would hold his breath. He would make his vent go off. Like, and then the moment you put Little Mermaid back on, he was happy. He was chill. We had 2 giant cats that I sent you those pictures too. These cats loved him. They were his cats.
I think I have it somewhere here.
They had to lay next to him, and that always made me nervous because they were bigger than he was, and so I would always make sure they never squished him. They were never mean to him. They were like he would lay on them. He would pinch them and everything. Like he honestly, like the only difference between our children and like your average child is he didn't have words to actually say to me when he was mad about something or didn't get his way. And he couldn't just run away from me. Instead, he would roll away from me.
You mean literally roll?
Right. Literally, like, yeah, I'm not doing this, Mom. You know, I don't feel like he was complicated. I feel like it wasn't hard for us. Like that's just how our life was. Our life was normal for us with him.
It got easier.
Yeah, it got very easy.
One of the things that people would tell me like, oh, and I hate it when people tell me. I know it comes from a good place because people are trying to comfort you, but they tell you, God wanted your baby. God took your baby. God took your baby.
I hate that too. Whenever they're like, he's in a better place. I hate that too. Or, well, you weren't meant to keep him. Well, then, it's an insult. I feel like it's an insult. I have a huge problem with this, and I've voiced this many times before, and I've pissed off a lot of family and friends and other people about this, but why? I don't, at this point, I don't even feel like it's something that God should be involved in. Like, just let's not bring his name in. This is just Christian for me, for our family. We're fine. We're happy. He's happy. That baby was taken so amazingly well taken care of. Like, he was loved so much.
Let me tell you this. And I often say people, think about this. A lot of people blame God for a lot of wrong things that happen in our lives.
Right.
But why would a loving God who cares about us and brought us in this life to live and who can create as many angels as he wants to with a snap of a finger, why would he take our baby?
Why would he take ours? But he would let
Yes.
a child live through being tortured and assaulted in all these other homes. Why would this person take a baby that's happy, that's being surrounded with love? You're going to take my baby, but you're going to torture all these other ones.
I don't believe God is the reason behind this. He's not the reason behind this, and people got to learn to understand that he's not. He's not the reason behind this. A loving God wouldn't do that, and he's not the reason behind this.
No.
But I do understand frustrations, and I do understand when people don't understand things. I do understand it. And let me tell you, you are so brave. You are so brave for just hold on, my phone is going off. You are so brave for just being able to be vulnerable and to be able to talk about your feelings and talk about what you went through. I can see that the passion and the love that you have for this little boy. I can see it. And I can see that you're a doting mom.
We created a YouTube page with Christian videos and a storyline for him, and just to give hope to other moms, because even when I was pregnant with him and I joined groups to help get me through it, because counselors were pointless. Counselors were like, you just need to make sense. He needs to go. You need to just terminate, follow the doctor's directions. They know best, blah, blah, blah. It was constantly a hit after a hit after a hit. It even happened in my family and in my fiance's family where, they just didn't understand why we would take this on. Why would you do that? Well, just because that's what we needed to do. And we have gotten so much hate on our YouTube page with Christian.
What?
Why would you let that little monster live? Why would you this? A lot of the comments are in Russian. And there's translators, so you're able to see for yourself. There's
Yeah.
some very terrible things, and it's to the point where it's not even, and I'll even say, like, it's not even worth fighting with you if you've got to be such an ugly person
Mm-hmm.
to say such things about an innocent child. They obviously, you had a terrible home growing up and you have jealousy issues because this child was safe. This child was happy. He was oh, you can just see it in his face.
He was. He was.
I
I
We would do anything to have him back.
I would do anything to have my easy back.
We There was a lady that makes the living dolls, the dolls that look like your real baby.
Mm-hmm.
And she had followed me on YouTube and on Facebook, and she showed me some of the stuff she's made, and we talked online and like video chat. So I knew she wasn't like a scammer person or anything, but she was obsessed with Christian for some reason. Like, just something about Christian, she said, just the way he smiles and his eyes, and he just had beautiful teeth and just everything about him. And so she wanted to make me a doll of
Mm-hmm.
Christian,
Mm-hmm.
which I would love that. I would love that. My fiance, though, he's like, oh my God. I don't He's like, I would be the one that, if I'm feeling down, I would hold him. Like,
Yes.
Scarlett would hold him. It's something that, it would help. But at the same time, I see his point where, this is a doll.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want that because I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind. I would just rather look at a picture on the wall and go look at the beautiful videos we had. I would rather see him like that. Let me
Yeah.
show you. Let me show the audience a picture of my daughter.
Yes. She was adorable.
Oh, thank you. This sassy little thing. Yeah, that's a picture. For those who don't know, that's a picture of my Isabel.
She's so cute.
Thank
And
you.
I always loved our babies had the same little nose bridge. And that
Yes.
was a time. Our babies look so much alike. And
Yes.
those cheeks, I just love them.
Yes. Yes. Wow. For those people who have the privilege of having their babies live, though especially those with TD, it is a blessing. Cherish your babies.
Yes.
Cherish them.
I don't
It's,
know if you follow Charlie and
I
Samuel.
do. I do. I do.
We were blessed when we went to Wilmington, Delaware. We got to hang out with Charlie and his mom, and
Mm.
it and to see him thriving so much. He was just on a plane
Yes.
the other day, and him and Samuel both, like, no trachs, and they're
Yes.
I mean, it's
And
so
it is we have to celebrate those who are living. It's hard for us to see that, but at the same time we are happy that even if our babies did not make it, but there are those who are making it. You understand? It's sometimes, I honestly, I hate to say that, but I sometimes I used to feel like, why are all our other babies there, but I'm going like, it is a we when things like this happen, God uses different situations to help other people. And that's why I started to use my voice, my experience with my daughter to help other people, to help them. You understand? To give them hope, to give them, maybe my child is not here, but maybe there's a way that I can use, her experience, her memories, her life experiences, what she went through to help you cope with what you're going through. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if you feel that way.
No, it absolutely does. And if it wasn't for, all the moms that, even the ones whose children passed away at like 20 years old,
Yes.
24, 25, and the ones that are still thriving, like, if it wasn't for those mamas that fought so hard and helped me push myself,
Yes.
helped me to stand up to family and friends and doctors, I don't know if Christian would have ever came home.
Yeah, I remember when Easy died, how you guys reached out to me, and I remember Evelyn coming down with Samuel. It was such a joy to see him, and you know how he was happy. I could never forget he was eating those Cheerios.
Yes, loved his little puffs and Cheerios, and oh my
Yes.
god, he lived on the. We would have to order them by cases. Like yes,
Uh-huh. It's good to see. It makes me happy to see the other TD babies are thriving, and it gives me joy to know that other moms are enjoying that with their kids. You understand? It really, really, really does. And I would say, we are there with you guys, supporting you. If you're watching this live, we are there supporting you. It's hard for us, but we are sharing the joy and the happiness with you guys. Listen, this was this was a picture of my this was a picture of my daughter. That was the hardest thing for me when she passed away. And they had just bathed her, and they had just bathed her and we had put clothes on her and whatnot. And I was just looking at her. That was the saddest thing for me. I can look at it. And I'm the picture's on the screen, but I'm looking past it. I'm looking past it.
when when Christian passed away, they literally just handed me his death certificate and told me to sign it. They didn't let me bathe him because we weren't doing photos. They didn't put him in my arms and let me hold him. It was something that during when he passed away, Scarlett was in the waiting room with my mom and a friend of mine and my fiance and Joey, and it was just a nightmare of stuff going on. Everything was just so crazy. I mean, I just had a C-section. I'm running through the hospital, and during this, the H1N1, that whole virus thing was going on.
Yes.
So they wouldn't even let me bring my newborn daughter in the room to say, to just be there next to her brother that just died. And I had to sneak my son in so that he could say goodbye to his brother because the doctors wouldn't let him. Like, one of the doctors I'll never forget, he literally said, well, you're lucky he lived this long. Enjoy your time. Sorry he passed away. And then just walked away like it was nothing. And like, I'll never forget how much that, like, I literally screamed in the hallways of the hospital when he passed away. And they wouldn't like reconnect him. They wouldn't do anything for him. And it was just, that's like one day that will never be wiped out of my memory ever.
That was kind of harsh for them not to let you see. I
No, I came back in the room because I forgot something. I came back in the room and there's two nurses on each side of him and he's just naked laying there on a bed and they're just giving him a sponge bath, cleaning him up because, when our babies pass away, everything just comes out. And
Yes.
and they, I was like, I want to hold my baby, and they're like, well, this is a process that we do, and I didn't know that I could say no, I'm holding my damn baby. Like, I didn't know what I was supposed to do, or what do
I had
I
a I
don't
had
want
a,
to get kicked out. I was already told once that if I didn't calm down, I was going to have to be asked to leave because I was crying and screaming, and like my son just died. I just wanted to be with my son. I literally, at that point, I just wanted to grab him and just grab Scarlett, my family, and just go and just have him at home with me. And then just, we'll deal with it when I got home. Like, that's all the different feelings that come out of your head. Like, I don't want these strangers touching my son. Like, I could already tell from the nurses, like, yeah, they were sad, but at the same time, they were smirking. And I can't handle the negativity that people had around him. We would go to the grocery store and people would, what's wrong with your child? What the fuck is wrong with you? Pardon my language. It's like, why? Like, why do you have to attack an infant, a child?
people are very wicked in this world. How I don't get. I'm so sorry. Sorry, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. that you had to go through that, because I had a totally different experience when I realized that my daughter was, she was like, the bubbles were coming out from the trach, like she was already going. The nurses and the doctors in that hospital, and people can say what they want about them, they can say what they want, they gave me a moment that I would never forget. And yours was bad, but mine was, they allowed me to spend the night in the hospital with my daughter. They fed me breakfast. I stayed there when she was on her last moments. They allowed me to sit in that room with her, to hold her, and they allowed me, as she died in my arms, and as difficult as it was, they allowed me to hold her. They allowed me to bathe her. And everybody who came to see me, I didn't have real family there, but friends, I consider them family though. They were allowed to hold her and to talk to her, even if she was had already passed. And I that was, although it was difficult to do that, but that was an experience that I needed to help me cope. And I'm so sorry you didn't get that.
And that right there was just one reason why we wanted out. We just the idea of running into his biological father again, because we do have mutual friends, and he
Hmm.
hung out at bars that I at one point like to go to, and I just the thought of running into him or the doctor, if I even saw one of those doctors or nurses somewhere
You would flip.
after that, I was literally like, I had already played everything out in my brain. Like, I already knew exactly what I was going to do. Like, I would
Don't
carve
say it, don't say
I swear, it was not good. It was not good.
it. Don't say it.
I mean, it it was so bad that it was creating problems between even Ryan and I. Like, just I was so mad at everybody, which at the same time it made me hold my son and my daughter closer to me.
Yes.
Like, she's 8 years old now and she still can't even sleep in her own bed. Like,
Hmm.
my oldest son, he was so he loved his brother so much. You can tell. And my son, had to deal with a lot growing up. He didn't have, what everybody else's regular childhood is or whatever, that wasn't the
Hmm.
lifestyle he had. But at the same time, he never went without. And after Christian passed away, everything just changed. He went from this smiling, happy kid, whatever, to he's just kind of one of those, like, I remember him crying at Christian's funeral and holding his baby sister. And he was also one of the pole bearers. And now it's like when I bring up Christian or anything, he's just like numb. Like, he says he really can't remember like what to do, how to feel. Like, he's still very loving. He's a great kid. I'm so proud of him.
Like
But Christian,
they cope in their own ways, because my oldest son, he internalized, he does not speak too much about what is hurting him, but you could see that he was into depression. He was depressed. So they feel it. They may not be able to verbalize how they feel, but they feel it. And Sarita, I cannot tell you how sorry enough that you did not get to say, to have that experience with your son. But you know what? I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you that I can still see the pain in you, but you have the strength to be able to come out here and to tell the world your experience about your beautiful, loving, and cool guy, Christian. And
I
I
just
want to go ahead.
my goal is just, if you're a mom that's like, you have a child that's diagnosed with something different, it doesn't even have to be thanatophoric dysplasia. It could just be achondroplasia or any symptom. Like,
Yes,
just, you don't give up on your child just because they're going to look different or they might need more attention. Like, know that
yes,
there is help out there. And a lot of the doctors and a lot of these people don't understand that we have a huge support group, that we
yes,
have resources to find help, and that we are able to, you know, be there some way, whether it's over the phone or a video chat, or if we're close enough, we could be there in person. Like,
Yes. And I want to tell the viewers this. A lot of people will look down on parents like us who have had children with thanatophoric dysplasia, parents who have children, and they will judge us. Why is your child like that? Why was your child born this way? What did you do? Is it running in your family? Is this something that you were doing that's caused your child to be like this? But let me tell you, it is a genetic disorder. And take it from me, it could happen to you. It could happen to anybody else. It's not inherited. It could happen. So people have got to be a little bit more sensitive to these kind of things, because we live in a world with so many things that are happening to us, so many toxins, so many diseases. We don't know why the genes mutated. We don't know why our babies were born this way. We're trying to find out what. You understand? But we don't know why. So I need people to be empathetic, be sympathetic to those
I'm
of
okay.
us who are good. He wants to be a
I'm okay. I'm okay. Stop.
killer.
I'm okay. I'm okay. It's okay.
Because he sees you crying, right?
Yes.
That's no one. My youngest son, he does that to me. When he sees me crying, he will just come and just wipe my tears and everything. You see that the pup. What's his name? And now he's gone.
Zeus Bronson. Come on. Okay.
So with that, so okay, let me let him calm down. So okay,
Go get
let
daddy.
me, before we get into, we have a few more minutes before we get into your business aspect of your of how you know what you've done after Christian. Tell, can you give the viewers some advice, some feedback, something to help them understand, you know, what you know what, just tell them something. I don't even know how to phrase it.
Um, just don't. I would say just follow your feelings. Like, honestly, you just follow your feelings. I mean, I'm not gonna tell someone, don't do it just because he's different or what. I don't know your personal situation. I don't know your life. I don't know what you're going through. I don't know who your support system is. But at the same time, you know, don't be scared. That's all. I was scared, but at the same time I wasn't scared. I was like, I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Just because someone doesn't want to be involved doesn't mean that I can't do this. And
Exactly.
I wanted to give him a chance. I just wanted to give him a chance.
And you know what, honey? You did. You did. You fought for that baby. You fought for Christian. And you are still fighting for him, even if he's not alive, because you're fighting for all of those who have that same disability you are fighting. You did give him a chance. So I want you to be proud of what you did for your baby. Be proud of yourself as a mom. Know you are strong. And for you to be, I know it's hard sometimes when you look at all your other kids and then you think of maybe he should have been there with us and everything. I know the same feelings come when you celebrate, you know, for example, if you celebrate birthdays or you celebrate anniversaries, things he used to do. But hold on to these memories and know that you gave him the best that you could with what you had and what you could have done. And don't you ever blame yourself for anything, because you were not the reason. You did your best. And you inspire women like me, because when you reached out to me after my daughter died, and it was, I felt like I came into a new family. That's how I look at everybody who has children with TD, who I reach out to, who's on our group. We are a family. We are a family. And those who have not been there, they may not understand, but we do. In our own rights, in our own situation, own circumstances, they are different, like you said, but we do, and we relate to each other. And we have got to be fight for each other and be source of strength and encouragement. And we have to speak out for each other, let each other's voice be heard. You understand? And that's why I said I wanted you to be here. I wanted all the parents to come and to tell more of their stories because every story is different. But I'm so thankful that you took up that mantle and to be able to be vulnerable on live, live on my live show and tell of your experience. I love you. I wish I could give you a hug right now.
Me too.
So you are strong lady, and then let me tell you, your children are going to learn so much from you. They have an awesome mom, and the love that you have for your children, oh my gosh, is going to continue for years. They're going to take that with them, and they're going to make you proud. So let's oh, you're such a sweetheart. So tell let's shift a little bit. We have cried our tears. I know it's never gonna stop falling, but let's shift a little bit. Yes. So what you have your own business plus you're a bartender. Tell us about your business. I think the name is Explore, Capture, Create, Eat. Tell us about your business.
So we started that back in 2018. We figured might as well, try and do something, because where we were at, you couldn't really find macarons and you couldn't really find cannolis, anything like affordable, and everything just tasted like it came from a frozen box. And so I had made some things for friends and stuff on a regular basis, and someone, one day was like, why aren't you selling these? Like, you should totally start your own bakery. So we looked into it, and sure enough, we were able to do a cottage bakery,
Okay.
which basically means you do from your own kitchen. You have, a whole bunch of really crazy rules in Washington that you have to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Health department, inspection, like the whole nine yards. So
Mm-hmm.
we went the route and we started Explore, Capture, Create, Eat.
Mm-hmm.
The name was kind of hard to come up with, but we figured, we will take all our travel adventures and kind of share new areas that we would go to in Washington or Oregon and share them with other people that, are always looking for something to do. Capture was the photography. I would do some photo shoots and stuff and just caught really awesome images and did some digital editing
Mm-hmm.
to create like mermaids, and I turned my niece into a butterfly in a flower field, and
Mm-hmm.
just had fun with it. Creating
Mm-hmm.
was just everything, creating moments, creating
Mm-hmm.
stuff at home. We put a whole like coffee bar together using pallets, and
Mm-hmm.
it actually turned out pretty cool.
Great.
Just fun stuff. And then the eat was the food. We during the whole pandemic, we did, essential baking, which, so what we do is I made cupcakes and edible band-aids on the cupcakes, and it would say you're essential, and we would take the fire departments, the police stations, we would take them to places where people were still working, and we would just donate the cupcakes and the cakes. People were sending us money to help, buy supplies so I could keep baking these things and giving them away. Um,
Okay.
we just did a lot of stuff until we decided to move here. We packed all of our stuff, and we've kind of taken a break until we're a little more settled here in Ocean Springs, and then hopefully by next year we'll be back up and running. We just don't really know a lot of people yet. I've been trying to get my name out, every time I'm bartending, letting people know, hey, I can make you cupcakes, and I do weddings and events and birthdays, and I even went crazy and bought a digital printer so I can like put edible pictures on cakes and stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we went a little crazy. Might have gotten a little over our head, but you know, I wanted something more affordable. We went to one place here, and their macarons are like, I'm not even joking, like smaller than that, like the size of like a 50-cent piece,
Oh my goodness.
and they taste like, no, it's like
Like you
grocery store freezer, like it. No, this is not homemade.
like rubber?
Yeah, yeah, and it's like the frosting was not good. Like this, I've even gone as far as like going to Walmart and looking at their frozen macarons to see how they taste, and they're actually better than this place. but I mean, like $4 for this teeny tiny little macaron, and I was selling mine. Mine were like 3 times bigger than that for a buck
Mm.
50. So like our
Wow.
goal was make something affordable, make it delicious, and at the same time, I had people in Washington that had, they couldn't have sugar. They had dairy allergies. So I was making sugar-free, dairy-free, salt-free, desserts for everyone, and they were loving them because they didn't taste like something that,
Mm.
you would think it actually tasted like strawberries or bananas or whatever.
Okay.
We
So
just
that
focus.
is that's wonderful. And then sometimes when you have something, it has to be unique. And people love uniqueness. They want to have the same things all the time. So I put it on screen, your name and your website where you can get
Thank
it. So yes. So you said you don't have a store in particular where you could sell, they could just order from you.
Yeah, you would have to order. Well, in Mississippi, how it works right now, if you have a cottage business here, you would have to purchase it. I mean, you could purchase it online, but you have to pick up here
Mm-hmm.
in Ocean Springs at the home, or I can deliver. But
Okay.
other than that, currently we do not have a storefront at the moment. But
Okay.
we're working on it. We have a lot of stuff to go through and get over all the bumps right now. Things are kind of crazy.
Yes. So guys, listen, y'all heard her. Those macrons, let me tell you, this look good now. Uh-huh. It make me want to look at this. Look at this. Oh my gosh. That's cannolis?
Yes.
Oh wow. I've never tasted one.
Oh my God, they're
I've
so good.
never
They're
tasted
so
one.
good.
Guys, listen, you gotta support my friend Sarita. Okay, support her. You can go to her website at www.eccesabi.com. I put it on the screen so you could see it. Support her. Call for those orders. Support her. Okay, she's a mom and she has been through a lot, and she needs to stay focused and she needs to grow her business. Support, support, support. Okay, nice. So we have spent a lot of time here, darling. I want to say thank you so much for
Thank you.
being here with me tonight, being here to share your story with others. Okay? A lot of people don't understand the world that we live in, but we do. A lot of people don't understand the why we would have done what we did for our babies, but we do. When you have a child, you don't just give up on that child, whether that child has a disability or not. You fight for your child because God gave you that responsibility as a parent to take care of your child. They didn't ask for they didn't ask for to be here. Listen, we went to do our business and they came. Okay. So they didn't ask to be here. So we have the responsibility of taking care of our kids. So I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I always tell people, it is this month is Dwarfism Awareness Month. Let me see if I can come up with the flyer. I want one of your Christian again. Oh my God, they are so cute. I want to say it is Dwarfism Awareness Month. I'm just going through the slide. This picture right here, I love it so much. The one on the left, it is too cute. He was smiling.
Hmm.
Yes.
That was his first real smile.
Okay, okay. And I always tell people, oh, you look so gorgeous there, girl. You're a gorgeous woman. I want to tell people, let me see if I can find a slide while I talk. I want to this that's one thing I always leave with everybody. My slogan is no tap outs, okay? Now, no matter what happens in your life, no matter what you're going through, as long as you have breath in you, as long as you have breath in you, you can always, always, always you can always get out of anything that you want to. You understand? You have to pray, you have to find that coping mechanism. You can do it, okay? So my slogan is no tap out. Do not give up. Whatever, no matter how hard the trials are. I cannot even see because I don't have my glasses and I'm feeling like a lost, free little blind mice. So no matter what the struggles are, you can get out of it. There are no tap outs, and I always say, You may fail many times before you can succeed, but never ever let failure be your finality. Okay. And I can see you are doing a wonderful job in being that strong mama. You are feisty mama. And then you said you're rebellious. Sometimes we gotta have a little rebelliousness in us so that we could get what we want. Okay. What is needed. So I want you to keep fighting for your babies, keep fighting to get that place in your mind where you will be, it's gonna be easier. It's gonna be easier to, not, I wouldn't say to cope because it doesn't get easier, but it's gonna be easier to live through the day. I found my the way that I was able to do that was to come through that show and to talk about and to help people like you talk about the experiences with the babies. It has gotten easier for me to do that. Not that it doesn't hurt anymore, but it has gotten easier for me to be able to speak out and like you did, because I was really scared to ask, because I'm gonna, this is a really touchy subject, and I know people get, I usually, when people talk about it, I get breakdowns and everything. I used to talk about it to get breakdowns. I used to cry sometimes. When I start crying for a whole week, I'm crying. But I'm glad that you were able to come up here, and I can see your strength. I can see your conviction, and I can see the love that you had for Christian, and you still do. I love you. I do.
Thank you so much.
I admire you. I admire your strength. And keep fighting. Keep fighting. One day,
Absolutely.
probably one day soon, we're gonna meet each other. Who knows?
I was telling my fiance, I was like, "Ooh, she's in San Lucian. We need to go over there."
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm from St. Lucia, but I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, So maybe, who knows, one day I could take a trip to visit. I would
Oh
love.
yeah, you're not that far.
No, I'm not. Yes. So my son said I'll order some cannolis. I want to taste it. I want some. Do you ship across country?
You know, I have had a lot of people ask me if I can ship yet. I mean, I haven't tried it. I have ordered other cupcakes and stuff from other people just to see how their shipping works.
Uh-huh.
Doesn't look so great. So I'm not sure if we can do that yet because temperature
Uh-huh.
wise and everything. However, it is going to be really cold here for us soon. So it might be a
Mm,
good time to ship cannolis.
yes. So yeah, we try look into it, and you may get your first order from us. Okay. I want to taste your cannolis.
Oh, yes.
All right, my darling. Well, thank you so much for being here on Poetry and Perspective with Placid. For everybody who is going to be watching this replay, this is Sarita. I hope I will say Beth McRann. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Amazing, resilient woman who has had to endure so much. Okay. So support her. And if you see her on the street, know that this is a woman who is a fighter. Okay. So I love you. Have a good night and
Love you.
stay positive. Okay.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.
Bye.